Hamlet, Act 1, Scene 1. Elsinore, a platform before the castle. Francisco at his post. Enter to him Bernardo. Bernardo, who's there? Francisco, nay, answer me, stand and unfold yourself. Bernardo, long live the king. Francisco, Bernardo. Bernardo, he. Francisco, you must carefully upon your hour. Bernardo, 'tis now strikes 12. Get thee to bed, Francisco. Francisco, for this relief, much thanks. 'Tis bitter, cold, and I am sick at heart. Bernardo, have you had Kate guard? Francisco, not a mouse stirring. Bernardo, well, good night. If you do meet Horatio and Marcellus, the revels of my watch, bid them make haste. Francisco, I think I hear them. Stand, who's there? Enter Horatio and Marcellus. Horatio, friends to this ground, Marcellus, and liegemen to the dawn. Francisco, give you good night, Marcellus. Oh, farewell, honest soul dear. Who hath relieved you? Francisco, Bernardo has my place. Give you good night. Exit, Marcellus. Hola, Bernardo. Say, what is Horatio? What? Is Horatio there? Horatio, a piece of him. Bernardo, welcome, Horatio. Welcome, good Marcellus. Marcellus, what? Has this thing appeared again tonight, Bernardo? I have seen nothing, Marcellus. Horatio says this but our fantasy, and we not to believe. Take hold of him, to see this dreaded sight twice so seen of us. Therefore I have entreated him along with us to watch the minutes of this night, that if again this apparition come, he may approve our eyes and speak to it. Tush, 'twill not appear. Bernardo, sit down a while, and let us once again assail your ears that are so fortified against our story. What we have tonight seen, Horatio, will sit with down, and let us hear Bernardo speak of this. Bernardo, last night of all, we knew the same star that westward from the pole had made his course to illume that part of heaven where now it burns. Marcellus and myself, the building waiting one. Enter ghost. Marcellus, peace, break thee off, look. Where it comes again, Bernardo, in the same figure, like the king that's dead. Marcellus, thou art a scholar, speak to it, Horatio. Bernardo, looks it not like the king? Mark, it's Horatio. Horatio, must like it arose me with fear and wonder. Bernardo, it will be spoke to. Marcellus, question it, Horatio. Horatio, what are do that usurps this time of night, together with that fair and warlike form, in which the majesty of borrowed Denmark did sometimes march by heaven, charge they speak. Marcellus, it is offended. Bernardo, see it stalks away. Horatio, stay, speak, I charge thee, speak. Exit ghost. Marcellus, 'tis gone, and will not answer. Bernardo, how now, Horatio, you tremble and look pale? Is not this something more than fantasy? What take you on, Horatio? Before my God, might not this be life without the sensible and true avouch of mine own eyes? Marcellus, isn't not like the king, Horatio, as thou art this to thyself. Such was the very armor he had on when he the ambitious Norway combated so front he once when in an angry pearl he smote the slided polkas on the ice. This strange, Marcellus. Thus twice before, and jam at this dead hour, with martial stalk, had he gone by our watch, Horatio. In what particular tried to work I know not, but in the gross and scope of my opinion, this bodies some strange eruption to our states, Marcellus. Good, now sit down and tell me he that knows. Why this same strict and most observant watch, so nightly toils the subject of the land, and why such daily cast of brazen cannon and foreign marked implements of war? Why such embrace of shipwrights whose sore task does not divide the Sunday from the week? What might be toward that is Swede has that make the night joint laborer with the day? Who is it that can inform me, Horatio? That can I. At least the whisper goes so. Our last king, whose image even but now appeared to us, was, as you know, by 14 brass of Norway. 32 praised on by almost emulate pride, dared to the combat in which our valiant Hamlet foresaw this side of our known world esteemed him, did slay this 14 brass, who by slight compact will ratified by law and heraldry, did forfeit with this life all those his lands, which he stood seized of the conqueror, against which of almighty competence was gauged by our king, which had returned to the inheritance of 14 brass, had he been vanquished as by the same convenience and courage of the article designed, his fell to Hamlet now, Sir Young 14 brass of unimproved metal had and fall, had in the skirts of Norway, here and there, sharked up a list of lawless results for food and day to some enterprise that had as much essence, which is no other, as it that will appear unto our states, but to recover of us by strong and terms compulsory those horsed lands. So by his father laws, and this I take it is the main motive of our preparations, the source of this our watch, and the chief head of this post haste and rummage in the land, Fernando. I think it's been no other, but even so, will may it sort that his portentous figure comes armed our watch so like the king that was and is the question of these wars, Horatio. And what it is so troubled the mind I, in the most high and palmy states of Rome, a little ere the May-dayst Julius feel, the grave stood tenantless and the shaded dead did squeak and gibber in the Roman streets as starts with trains of fire and dews of blood. The disasters in the sun and the moist star upon whose influence Neptune's empire stands was sick almost to doomsday with eclipse, and even the like precures of fierce events as harbingers preceding still the fastest and prologues to the omen coming on, have heaven and earth together demonstrated unto our climacture and countrymen. But soft, behold, to where it comes again, re-enter ghost. I'll cross it, though it blast me, stay, Elysian, if thou hast any sound, or use of voice, speak to me. If there be any good thing to be done, that me to thee do is, and grace to me speak to me. Cock crows. If thou art privy to the country's fate, which happily foreknowing may void or speak, or if thou hast afforded in the life, exalted treasure in the womb of earth, for which they say your spirits of walk in day, speak of it, stay and speak, stop it, Marcellus. Shall I strike at it with my partisan? Horatio, though, if it will not stand, Bernardo. 'Tis here, Horatio, 'tis here, Marcellus, 'tis gone, exit ghost. We do it wrong, being so majestical to appear in this show of violence, for it is as the air invulnerable, and our vine blows Marcellus' mockery, Bernardo. It was about to speak when the cock crew, Horatio, and then it started like a guilty thing. Upon a fearful summons I have heard the cock, that is the trumpet to the morn, doth with his lofty and shrill sounding throat wake the god of day, and at his warning, whether in sea or fire, in earth or air, the extravagant and erring spirit hies to his confine, and of the truth herein, these present objects made probation, Marcellus. It faded on the crowing of the cock. Some say that ever against that season comes wherein our Saviour's birth is celebrated, the bird of dawning, the bird of dawning singeth all night long, and then they say no sprite there is still abroad. The nights are wholly solemn. The no planet strike, no fairy takes, nor witch hath power to charm, so hallowed and so gracious is the time, Horatio. So have I heard, and do in part believe it. But look, the morn, it russet mantle clad, walks over the dew of yon high eastward hill, break we our watch, and by my advice, let us impart what we have seen tonight unto young Hamlet, for upon my life, this sprite Damba to us, we speak to him. Do you consent with? We shall account him with it as needful in our loves, fitting our duty, Marcellus. Let's that, I pray, and I this morning know where we shall find him most conveniently exeunt. Sent to Rome of state in the castle. Enter King Claudius, King Gertrude, Hamlet, Polonius, Laertes, Voltimand, Cornelius, lords and attendants. King Claudius. Die yet, O Hamlet, of Hamlet, our dear brother's date, the memory be green, and that is us, be fighted to bear our horse in grief, and our whole kingdom to be contracted in one brow of woe. Yet so far had discretion fought with nature, that we ceased sorrow think on him, together with remembrance of ourselves, therefore our sometime sister, now our queen, the imperial jointress to his warlike state, have we as dware with a defeated joy, with a now specious and a drooping eye, with mirth in funeral and with dirge in marriage, in equal skill, winning delight and dole, taking to wife, nor have we herein barred your bitter wisdoms which have freely gone, With this affair along for all our thanks, now follows that young 14 brass, holding awake supposal of our word, or thinking by our late dear brother's dates, our state to be disjoined and out of frame, colleagued with the dream of his advantage, he had not failed to pester us with message importing the surrender of those lands lost by his father with all bonds of law to our most valiant brother. So much for him, now for ourselves and for his time meeting. Thus much the business is we have here read to Norway ankle of young 14 brass, how impotent and bade read scarcely years of this his nephew's purpose to suppress his further gates herein in that the lists and for proportions are all made out of his subjects, and we here dispatch you good Cornelius and you Voltimand for bearers of this greeting to all Norway, giving to you no further personal power to business with the king more than the scope of these delighted articles allow. Farewell, and let your haste commend your deity. Cornelius Voltimand. In that and all things will be show our deity, King Claudius. Without it nothing. Heartily farewell, Exeunt Voltimand and Cornelius. And now, Laertes, what's the news with you? You told us of some sight. What is it, Laertes? You can't speak of reason to the Dane, and lose your voice. That waltz do big, Laertes. That shall not be my offer, not they. Asking, the head is not more native to the heart, the hand more instrumental to the mouth, than is the throne of Denmark to the father. What waltz do have, Laertes? Laertes, my dread lord, you live and favor to return to France, from whence though willingly I came to Denmark to show my duty in your coronation, yet now I must confess that duty done, my thoughts and wishes bend again toward France, and bow them to your gracious leave and pardon. King Claudius, have you your father's leave? What says Polonius? Lord Polonius, he had, my lord, wrung from me my slow leave, by laborsome petition, and at last, upon his will, I slayed my heart's consent. By laborsome petition, and at last, upon his will, I sailed my heart consents. I do beseech you, give him leave to go. King Claudius, take the fire, our Laertes, thine be thine, and the best graces paint it at they will. But now, my cousin Hamlet and my son. Hamlet aside, a little more than kin and less than kind. King Claudius, how is that the clouds still hang on you? Hamlet, not so, my lord. I am too much. I the son. Queen Gertrude. Good Hamlet, cast the ignited color off, and let thine eye look like a friend on Denmark. Do not forever with the violet lids seek for the noble father in the dust. Thou knowest days coming, all that lives must die, passing through, not sure, to eternity. Hamlet, aye, madam, it is coming, Queen Gertrude. If it be, why seems it so particular with thee, Hamlet? Seems, madam, night is, I know not seems, 'tis not alone my inky cloak, good mother, nor customary sweets of slumming black, nor when this suspicion of forced breed, no, nor the fruitful river in the eye, nor the dejected havure of the visage, together with all forms, moods, shapes of grief, that can denote me truly, is indeed same, for there are actions that man might play, but I have that within which passeth show. This but the tripping and this weights of woe, King Claudius. 'Tis wit and commendable in your nature, Hamlet, to give this morning weights to your father, but you must know your father lost that father. Oh, father, that father lost his, and is survivor bound in filial obligation for some term. To the obsequious wrote, but to persevere in obstinate condolement in course of impious satyr-bornness, 'tis unmanly grave. It shows a will most incorrect to heaven, a heart unfortified, a mind impatient, an understanding simple and unschooled, for what we know must be and is as common as any the most vulgar thing to sense. Why should we in our peevish opposition take it to heart? Fate is a fault to heaven, a fault against the dead, a fault to nature, to reason most absurd, whose common name is dead of fathers, and who still had cried from the first course till he that day to day. This must be so, we pray you, through to air this unprevailing woe, and think of us as a father, for let the world think not you are the most immediate to our throne, and with no less nobility of love than that which dearest father bears in his son, do I impart toward you, for your intent in going back to school in Wittenberg. It is must retrograde to our desire, and we beseech you, bend you to remain here in the cheer and comfort of our eye, our chief's courtier, cousin, and our son, King Gertrude. Let not the mother lose her prayers, Hamlet. I pray thee, stay with us. Go not to Wittenberg. Hamlet, I shall in all my best obey you, madam, King Claudius. Why, this loving and fiery plea? Be as ourselves in Denmark, madam, come. The gentle and unforced accord of Hamlet sits smiling to my heart, in grace whereof no jocund held that Denmark drinks today, but the great cannon today cloud shall tell, and the kings rouse the heaven, all bright again, speaking earthly thunder, come away, exeunt all but Hamlet. Oh, that this stout solid flesh will melt down and resolve itself into a dew, or that the everlasting had not fixed his cannon against save slaughter. Oh God, how very stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this word. Fate, fate is unknown, with the garden that grows to say things rank and grows in nature, possesses it merely that it should come to this, but 2 months dead, nay, not so much, not two, so excellent a king that was to this Hyperion, to satyr, so loving to my mother that he might not be tamed the winds of even visit her face too royally. Heaven and earth must remember why she would hang on him, as its if increase of appetite had grown by what it fed on, and yet within a month, let me not think in unsprated the name is woman or little mound, or ere those shows were old with which she followed my poor father's body like Niobe. All tears, why even she, O God, obeys that won't discourse of region would have mourned longer, married with my uncle, my father's brother, but no more like my father than I two Heracles within a month, ere the salt of mast Ridius tears had left the flushing in her goldy eyes. She married a most wicked speed, to boast with such dexterity to incestuous shades. It is not, nor it can't come to God, but break my heart, for I must hold my tongue. Enter Horatio, Marcellus, and Bernardo. Horatio. Hi to your lordship, Hamlet. I am glad to see you well. Horatio. Or, I do forget myself, Horatio. The same, my lord, and your poor servants ever, Hamlet. Sir, my good friend, I changed that name with you. And what make you from Wittenberg, Horatio? Marcellus, my good lord, Hamlet. I am very glad to see you. Good evening, sir. But what in faith make you from Wittenberg, Horatio? Outrient disposition, good my lord, Hamlet. I would not hear your enemy say so, nor shall you do mine ere that violence to make it thruster of your own reports against yourself. I know you are no tyrant, but what is your affair in Elsinore? Will teach you to drink, Dave, ere you depart. Horatio, my lord, I come to see your father's funeral. Hamlet, I pray thee, do not mock me, fellow student. I think it was to say my mother's wedding, Horatio. Indeed, my lord, it followed hard upon. Hamlet, tricked Horatio, the funeral backsmates did coldly furnish for the marriage tables what I had met my dearest foe in heaven, or ever I had seen that day, Horatio, my father. Meetings, I see my father. Horatio, where, my lord? Hamlet, in my mind's eye, Horatio. I saw him once. He was a godly king. Hamlet, he was a man. Take him for all in all. I shall not look upon his like again. Horatio, my lord, I think I saw him yesternight. Hamlet, so? Who? Horatio, my lord, the king, your father. Hamlet, the king, my father? Horatio, season your admiration for a while. With an intent air, till I might deliver upon the witness of this gentleman this marvel to you, Hamlet. For God's love, let me hear. Horatio, 2 nights together had these gentlemen, Marcellus and Bernardo, on their watch, in the dead fast and middle of the night, being thus encountered a figure like your father, armed at point exactly cap up, appears before them, and with slumming march goes slow and stately by them strides he walked by their oppressed and fair surprised eyes within his truncheons leant, whilst distilled almost to jelly with the act of fair stand dumb and speak not to him. This to me in dreadful secrecy imparted dead. And I with them the 3rd night kept the watch, whereas they had delivered both in time form of the thing, each word made true and good. The apparition comes. I knew your father. These hands are not more like Hamlet. But where was this, Marcellus, my lord? Upon the platform where we watched. Did you, Hamlet, did you not speak to it? Horatio, my lord, I did, but answer made it none. Yet once methought it lifted up its head and did address itself to motion like as it would speak, but even then the morning cock crew loud, and at the sound it shrank in haste away and vanished from our sight. Hamlet. It is very strange, Horatio. As I do live, my honored lord, 'tis true, and we did think it right down in our duty to let you know of it, Hamlet. Indeed, sirs, but this troubles me. Hold you the watch tonight, Marcellus Bernardo? We do, my lord, Hamlet. Armed, say you? Marcellus Bernardo. Armed, my lord, Hamlet. From top to toe? Marcellus Bernardo. My lord, from head to foot. Hamlet. Then saw you not his face, Horatio? Oh yes, my lord, he wore his beaver up, Hamlet. What looked he frowningly, Horatio? A countenance more in sorrow than in answer, Hamlet. Pale or red? Nay, very pale, Hamlet, and fixed his eyes upon you. Must constantly, Horatio, must constantly, Hamlet. I would I had been there, Horatio. It would have much amazed you. Very like, stayed it long, Horatio. While one with moderate haste might tell 100, Marcellus Fernando. Launcher, Horatio. Not when I thought Hamlet, his board was grizzled. No, Hamlet, his board was grizzled. No, Horatio, it was, as I have seen it in his life, a Sibyl slivered, Hamlet. I will watch tonight. Perchance will walk again, Horatio. I warrant it will, Hamlet. If it assume my noble father's person, I speak to it, doy hell itself should gape and bid me hold my peace. I pray you all, if you have hitherto concealed this sight, let it be tenable in your silence still, and whatsoever else shall have tonight, give it an understanding, but no tongue. I will recate your loves so far you will upon the platform twixt 11 and 12. I'll visit you all. Our duty to your honor, Hamlet. Your loves as mine to you, farewell. Exeunt all but Hamlet. My father's pride in arms, all is not well. I doubt some foul play would the night will come. Till then, sit still, my soul, foul dates will rise. Though all the earth overwhelm them to men's eyes. Exit. Scene 3, Rome in Polonius' house. Enter Laertes and Ophelia. Laertes. My necessaries are embarked, farewell. And sister, as the winds gave benefit and convoy is assistant, do not slay, but let me hear from you, Ophelia. Do you doubt that, Laertes? For Hamlet and the trifling of his favor, hold it of fashion and a toy in blood, of violet in the youth of prime nature, forward not permanent, sweet, not lasting, the perfume and suppliance of eminent no more, Ophelia. No more, but so, Laertes, think it no more, for nature christened does not grow alone in use and bulk, but as this temple waxes the inward word service of the mind and soul grows withal perhaps he loves you now, and no soil nor cotton doth besmirch the virtue of his will, but you must fear his greatness. Wide his will is not his own, for himself is subject to his board. He may not, as unvioled persons to do, carve for himself, for on his choice depends the safety and health of this world state, and therefore must his choice be circumscribed unto the voice and yielding of that body whereof he is the head. Then if he says he loves you, it fits your wisdom so far to believe it, as he in his particular act and place my gift is seen deed, which is no further than to the main voice of Denmark goes without. Then why that loss your honor might sustain it with to credence ere you list his songs, or lose your heart, or your chaste treasure open to his unmastered importunity. Fear it, Ophelia, fear it, my dear sister, and keep you in the rear of your affection, out of the shoot and danger of thy desire. The cherished maid is prodigal enough. If she unmask her beauty to the moon, virtue itself escapes, not calumnious strokes. The canker gulls the infants of the spring too oft before their buttons be disclosed, and in the marn and lake of yod contagious blasphemies are most imminent. Beware then best safety lays inferior to itself rebels, though none is near. Ophelia, I should the effects of this good listen keep as watchman to my heart. By good my father, do not as some ungracious pastors do show me the step and throw me way to heaven, wise like a puffed and reckless libertine himself, the primrose path of Dylan's traits, and risks not his own reed. Lords, oh fear me not, I stay too long, but here my father comes. Enter Polonius. Audible blessing is audible grace. Occasion smiles upon a second leaf. Lord Polonius. Yet here, lords, aboard for shame. The wind sits in the shoulder of your side, and you are stayed for there my blessing with thee. And these few precepts in the memory. See thou character, give thee thoughts no tongue, nor any unproportionate thoughts his act. Be thou familiar, but by no means vulgar. Those friends do last, and their adoption tried. Grapple them to the soul with hopes of steel, but do not dull the palm with entreatments of each new hatchet infliged. Comrade, beware of entrance to a carrel, but being in birds that the opposite might beware of day. Give every man day air, but few the voice. Take each man's censure, but reserve the judgment. Costly by the habits as the purse can buy, but not expressed in fancy, rich, not gaudy. For the affair oft proclaims the man, and the inference of the base rank and station are of most select and generous chief, in that neither a brewer nor a lender be forlorn of losses, but itself and friend and brewing tools. The age of husbandry is this above all, to deign ourselves be true, and it must follow as the night the day. Thou canst not deign be false to any man. Farewell, my blessing season, days in day. Laertes. Laertes, most humbly do I take my leave, my lord. Lord Polonius, the time invites you, go your servant stand. Laertes, farewell, Ophelia, and remember well what I have said to you, Ophelia. 'Tis in my memory locked, and you yourself shall keep the key of it. Laertes, farewell. Exit Lord Polonius. What is, Ophelia, I had said to you? Ophelia, so please you something to sing the Lord Hamlet. Lord Polonius, Mary, well betide. 'Tis told me he had very oft of late given private time to you, and you yourself have of your audience been most free and bounteous. If it be so, as so it is put on me, and that in way of caution I must tell you, you do not understand yourself so clearly as it behoves my daughter and your honor. What is between you? Give me up the truth, Ophelia. He had my lord of late made many tenders of his affection to me, Lord Polonius. Affection, Paul, you speak like a grim girl, and sifted in such perilous circumstance. Do you believe his tenders, as you call them, Ophelia? I don't know, my lord, that I shall think, Lord Prince Mary. I'll teach you. Think yourself a baby, that you have 10 days tenders for true pay, which are not sterling. Tender yourself more dearly, or not to crack the wind of the port phrase, or running is it's thus you'll tender me of all, Ophelia, my lord. He had important melee with love in an honorable fashion, Lord Polonius. I fashion you may call it. Go to, Ophelia, and had given countenance to his speech, my lord, with almost all the holy vows of heaven, Lord Polonius. I springes to catch woodcocks, I don't know, when the blood burns, how prodigal the silence, the tongue vows, this blazes, daughter giving more light than hate extinct in both, even in their promise as it is o making, you must not take for fire from this time. Be somewhat scanter of your maiden presence. Set your entreatments at a higher rate than a command to parley, for Lord Hamlet believe so much in him that he is young, and with a larger tether may he walk than may be given you in view, Ophelia. Don't believe his foes, for they are brokers, not of that dye which their investments show, but mere implorators of unholy sweets, breeding like sanctified and pious vows. The bitter big will. This is for all. I will not, in plain terms, from this time forth have you so slander any moment's leisure as you give words or talk with the Lord Hamlet. Locktot, I charge you, come your ways. Ophelia, I shall obey, my lord. Exeunt. Scene 4. The platform. Enter Hamlet, Horatio, and Marcellus. Hamlet. The air beats shrewdly. It is very cold. It is a nipping and an incher air. What hour now? Scene 4. The platform. Enter Hamlet, Horatio, and Marcellus. Hamlet. The air beats shrewdly. It is very cold, Horatio. It is a nipping and an incher air, Hamlet. What hour now, Horatio? I think it lacks of 12, Hamlet. No, it is struck, Horatio. Indeed, I heard it not, and it draws near decision, wherein the spirit held his wont to walk, a flourish of trumpets and ordnance shouts of wedding. What does this mean, my lord Hamlet? The king doth wake tonight and takes his rouse, keeps wassail and the sojourning up spring rails, and as the drains his drought of rainish down, the kettle drum and trumpets does bray out the triumph of his pledge. Horatio. It is a customer, Hamlet. Ay, Mary. It is but to my mind, though I am native here, and to the manner born, it is a customer more honored in the breach than the observance this heavy-headed river east and west makes us trusted and taxed of other nations. Declared us, drunkards, and with Swedish phrase, soil or our addition, and indeed it takes from our achievement, though performed at height, the pitched and marrow of our attributes. So oft it chance in particular men that for some vicious small of nature in them as in their bird wherein they are not guilty, since nature can choose his origin by the overgrowth of some complexion of breaking down the past and force of reason, or by some habits that so much overleavens the form of plausive manners that these men carrying, I see the stamp of one's defect being nature's livery or fortune's star. Their virtues is be they as pure as grace, as infinite as man may undergo. Shall the general censor take corruption from the particular folds the dram of ale, dots all the noble substance of doubt to his own scandal. Horatio. Look, my lord, it comes, enter ghost. Hamlet. Angels and ministers of grace defend us, be those sprites of hell or goblin damned, bring with the earth from heaven off, or blast from here, hell, be the intense wicked or charitable, thou comest in such a questionable shape that I will speak to thee. I call thee Hamlet, king, father. Well done. O answer me, let me not burst in ears, but tell why the canonized bones hurled indeed have burst their cerements by the sepulchre wherein we saw the kitely inurned had opened his ponderous and marble jaws to cast the Abba again. What may this mean that thou dead course again in complete state revisits thus the glimpses of their mount, making nights hideous and with force of nature so hurriedly to shake our disposition with thoughts beyond the riches of our souls? Say, why is this? Wherefore? What shall we do? Ghost. Beckons Hamlet. Horatio. It beckons you to go away with it, as if it's some impartment desired to you alone. Marcellus. Look with what courteous action it weaves you to a more removed ground, but do not go with it. Horatio. No, by no means, Hamlet. It will not speak, then I will follow it. Horatio. Do not, my lord. Hamlet. Why? What should be the fear? I do not set my life in opens faith, and for my soul, what can it do? What can it do to that? Being ordained immortal as itself, it weighs me for the gain. I follow it. Horatio. What if it tempts you toward the flood, my lord, or to the dreadful summit of the cliff that battles over his base into the sea, and dare assume some other horrible form which might deprive your sovereignty of reason and draw you into madness. Think of it. The very place puts toys of desperation without more motive into very brain that locks so many fathoms of the sea and hears its roar beneath. Hamlet. It weaves me still. Go on, I'll follow thee. Marcellus. You shall not go, my lord. Hamlet. Hold off your hands. Horatio. Behold, you shall not go. Hamlet. My faith cries out and makes each petty artery in this body as hardy as the Nemean lion's nerve. Still am I called on. Hand me, gentlemen, by heaven, I'll make a ghost of him. That tells me I say away. Go on, I'll follow the exeunt, ghost, and Hamlet. Horatio. He wakes, desperate with imagination. Marcellus. Let's follow. 'Tis not fit thus to obey him. Horatio. Have after two. What issue will this come? Marcellus. Something is rotten in the state of Denmark. Horatio. Heaven will direct it. Marcellus. 9. Let's follow him. Scene 5. Another part of the platform. Enter Ghost and Hamlet. Hamlet. Where will thou lead me? Speak, I go no further. Mark me, Ghost, mark me. Hamlet. I will, Ghost. My hour is almost come when I too, sulphurous and tormenting flames, must render up myself. Hamlet. Alas, poor Ghost, Ghost. Pity me not, but lend this serious hearing to what I shall unfold. Hamlet. Speak, I am bound to hear. Ghost. So art thou to revenge when thou shalt hear. Hamlet. What? Ghost. I am the father's sprite, doomed for a certain term to walk the night, and for the day confined to fast in fires, till the false crimes done in my days of nature are burnt and purged away, but that I am forbid to tell the secrets of my prison house. I could a tale unfold whose lightest word would harrow up the soul, freeze the young blood, make the two eyes like stars from their ciphers, denoted and combined locks to parts, and each particular eye to stand and on in like keels upon the fretful porpentin. But this eternal blazon must not be to heirs of flesh and blood, lest if thou didst every day their father love. Hamlet. Oh God. Ghost. Revenge is foul and most unnatural murder. Hamlet. Murder? Ghost. Murder must fall as in the best it is, but this must fall strange and unnatural. Hamlet. Hast me to know that I with wings and swift and as medicine or the tides of love me sweep to my revenge. Ghost. I think the apt and dollar shouldst do be done did fat weight that rose itself in ease on late wharf. Walls do not steer in this. No, Hamlet, here 'tis giving out that sleeping in my orchard a serpent stung me, so the whole air of Denmark is by a forged process of my death, rankly abused. But now, thou noble youth, the serpent that did sting the father's life now wears his crown. Hamlet. Oh, my prophetic soul, my uncle. Ghost. I, that incestuous, that adulterates base with witchcraft of his wits, with traitorous gifts of wicked wit and gifts that have the power to so too insidious one to his shameful lust. Wicked wit and gifts that have the power so to seduce want his shameful lust, the will of my most seeming virtues gain. O Hamlet, what funny enough was he there from me, whose love was of that dignity that if went hand in hand, even with the vow I made to her in marriage, and to decline upon which whose natural gifts were poured to those of mine. But virtue as it never will be more doi loudness courts in a shape of heaven, so last doi to a radiant angel linked will state itself in a celestial bed and prey on garbage. But soft methinks sent the morning air brave, let me be, sleeping within my orchard, my custom always of the afternoon upon my secure hour, the ankle stole with joys of coursed Hebinon in Ovial, and in the porches of my ears did your the leprous distilment whose effects holds such an enmity with blood of man that swift as kick sliver in courses, it courses though the natural gaze and lace of the body, and with a sudden vigor that posits and cord like each droppings into milk, the den and wholesome blood, so did it mine, and almost instant teeter bracked about most laser-like with vile and loathsome crossed all my smooth body. Thus was I sleeping by a brother's hand of life, a crown of queen, at once dispatched, cut off even in the blossoms of my sin, unhoused, disappointed, unannealed, no reckoning made, but sent to my account with all my imperfections on my head. O horrible, most horrible, if thou hast nature in thee, but let not the royal bed of Denmark be a coach of luxury and damned incest, but howsoever thou pursuest this act, taint not the mind, nor let thy soul contrive against the mother earth. Leave her to heaven, and to those thorns that in her bosom lodge, to prick and sting her fair day well at once. The glowworm shows the mating to be near, and gains to pall his ineffectual fire. Adieu, adieu, Hamlet. Hamlet, remember me. Exit. Hamlet. Oh, all you host of heaven, O earth, what is and shall I couple hail, O fay, hold my heart, and you, my sinews grow not instant old, but bear me stiffly up. Remember thee, I do poor ghost, while memory holds so sad. In this distracted globe, remember thee, yeah, from the table of my memory, I will wipe all trivial fond records, all sorts of books of all forms, all precursors past that youth and observation copied there, and my commandments all alone shall live within the book and volume of my brain, unmixed with brazier matter, yes, by heaven, a most pernicious human, violence, smiling, damned, violent, my tables meet it is, I sit it down, that one might smile and be violent. At least I'm sure it may be so in Denmark, writing. So, uncle dear, you are not to my word. It is adieu, remember me, I have sworn. Marcellus Horatio Within. My lord, Marcellus Within. Lord Hamlet, Horatio Within. Heavens cure him, Hamlet. So be it, Horatio Within. Hello, ho, my lord Hamlet. Hello, ho, bay. Come, bird, come, enter, Horatio and Marcellus. Who is it, my noble lord, Horatio? What news, my lord, Hamlet? Oh, wonderful, Horatio. Good, my lord, tell it, Hamlet. No, you'll reveal it, Horatio. Not I, my lord, be heaven, Marcellus. Nor I, my lord, no I, my lord, Hamlet. How see you? Then all the hearts of man once think it, but you'll be secret, Horatio Marcellus. Ah, by heaven, my lord, Hamlet, there is never a violent dwelling in all Denmark, but he's an arrant knave, Horatio. There needs no gods, my lord, come from the grave to tell us this, Hamlet. Why right? Why right? You are, I did right, and so without more circumstance at all, I hold its feet that we shake hands and part you as your business and desire shall point you, for every man has business and desire such as it is, and for mine own poor part love you I'll go pray, Horatio. These are but wild and willing words, my lord. Hamlet, I'm sorry to offend you. Heartily, yes, fate, heartily, Horatio. There's no offense, my lord Hamlet. Yes, by Saint Patrick, but there is, Horatio, and much offense to shine his vision here. It is an honest ghost that let me tell you, for your desire to know what is between us, overmaster. Tell us you may, and know good friends, as you are friends, scholars and soldiers. Give me one poor request, Horatio. What is, my lord, we will? Hamlet, never make known what you have seen tonight, Horatio Marcellus. My lord, we will not, Hamlet. Nay, but swear it, Horatio. In faith, my lord, not. Marcellus, nor I, my lord, in faith, Hamlet. Upon my sword. We have sworn, my lord, already. Indeed, upon my sword, indeed, ghost beneath. Swear, Hamlet. Boy, saidst thou so? Art thou with there, trooping? Come on, you, hear this fellow in the silly ridge, consent to swear, Horatio. Propose the oath, my lord. Hamlet, never to speak of this that you have seen. Swear by my sword, ghost beneath. Swear, Hamlet. Hic ubig. Then we'll shift our ground. Come hither, gentlemen, and lay your hands again upon my sword. Never to speak of this that you have heard. Swear by my sword, ghost beneath. Swear, Hamlet. We said all mole canst work in the earth so fast. O worthy pioneer, once more remove good friends. Horatio, O day and night, but this is wondrous strange, Hamlet. And therefore, as a strange gift it welcome, there are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamed of in your philosophy, but come here as before never, so help you mercy. How strange of odd, so over I bear myself as I perchance hereafter shall think mate, to put an antique disposition on, that you at such time seeing me never shall, with arms encumbered us, or this head shake, or by pouncing of some doubtful phrase, as well will we know, or we called, and if we would, or if we list to speak, or there be, and if they might, or such ambiguous giving out to not that you know aught of me, 'tis not to do. So grace and mercy at your most need help you. Swear, ghost beneath. Swear, Hamlet. Restricted perturbed spirits, this swear. So, gentlemen, with all my love I do commend me to you, and what so poor a man as Hamlet is, may do to express his love and friending to you, God willing, shall not lack, so let us go in together and seal your fingers on your lips, I pray. The time is out of joint, oh crossed spite that ever I was born to set it right. Now come, let's go together. Exeunt. Act 2, Scene 1, Rome in Polonius' house. Enter Polonius and Rinaldo, Lord Polonius. Give him this money and this not. Rinaldo, I will, my lord, Lord Polonius. You shall do marvelous, wisely, good Rinaldo. Before you visit him to make inquiry of his behavior, Rinaldo. My lord, I did intend it, Lord Polonius. Marry, will say it, very well said, look you, sir. Inquire me for that dancers are in Paris, and how, what means, and where they keep, what company, at what expense, and fending by these encompassments and drifts of question, that they do know my son come you more nearer, take you as 'twere some distant knowledge of him, as thus I know his father and his friends, and impart him. Do you mark this, Rinaldo? Aye, very well, my lord, Lord Polonius. And imparts him, but you may say not will, but if to be I mean he's very wild, addicted so, and they put on him what forgeries you please, marry, none so rank as my dishonor him. Take heed of that, but sir, such wanton, wild and usual sleeps as as our companions, noted and most known to youth and liberty, Rinaldo. As gamin, my Lord Polonius. Aye, or drinking, fencing, swearing, caroling, drabbing. You may go so far, Rinaldo. My lord, that will dishonor him, Lord Polonius. Faith, no, as you may season in the charge, you must not put another scandal in him, that he is open to incontinency. That's not my meaning, but braid his faults so kindly that they may seem to the taints of liberty, the flash and outbreak of fiery mind, savageness in unreclaimed blood of general assault, Rinaldo. But my good Lord Polonius, wherefore should you do this, Rinaldo? Ah, my lord, I will know that. Lord Polonius. Marry, sir, here is my drift, and I believe it is of which you laying these slights sullies on my son, as to where you think a little soiled I the working mark you your party in converse him you old sound, having everything in the nominate crimes, the you breed of guilty, be assured he closed with you in this consequence, good sir, or so, or friend, or gentleman, according to the phrase of the addition of man and country, Riando. Very good, my Lord Polonius. And then, sir, he does what was about to say by the mass. I was about to say something. Where did I live, Rinaldo? At clauses in this consequence, at friends or so, and gentlemen, Lord Polonius. At clauses in the consequence, I marry, he clauses, thus I know the gentleman, I saw him yesterday, or the other day, or then with such, or such, and as you say, there was a gamin there overtalk in rouse, their falling out at tennis or perchance. I saw him enter such a house of sale, vaidly sit, or bradle, or so forth. See you now. Your bait of shoe takes this carve of truth, and thus do we of wisdom and of reach with windlasses and with a size of bias by indirections find directions out. So by my former lecture and advice shall you, my son, you have you not? Rinaldo, my lord, I have. Lord Ponius, goodbye, we you, far you will. Rinaldo, good my lord. Lord Polinius, observe his inclination in yourself, Rinaldo. I show my Lord Polinius, and let him play his music, Rinaldo. Will my Lord Polinius. Farewell. Exit Rinaldo. Enter Ophelia. How now, Ophelia? What's the matter? Ophelia. Oh my lord, I've been so affrighted. Lord Polinius. With what? In the name of God. Ophelia. My lord, as I was swinging in my closet, Lord Hamlet with his doublet all embrassed, no that up in his head, his stocking fold, ungartered and down gave to his ankle, pale as his shirt, his knees knocking each other, and with a look so piteous in purport as if he had been loosed out of hell. To speak of horrors, he comes before me, Lord Polinius. Mad for the love, Ophelia. My lord, I don't know, but truly I do fear it, Lord Polinius. What said he, Ophelia? He took me by the wrist and held me hard, then goes he to the length of all his arm, and with his other hand thus over his brow, he falls to such perusal of my face as he walked through it. Long stayed he saw at last a little shaking of mine arm, and thrice his head thus given up and down he raised a sigh of so piteous and profound as it did seem to shudder all his bulk, and in his being that done he lets me go, and with his head over his shoulder turned, he seemed to find his way without his eyes, for out doors he went without their helps, and to the last bended their light on me. Lord Polonius, come, go with me. I will go seek the king. This is the very ecstasy of love. How violent property for those itself, and leads the will to desperate undertaking as oft as any passion under heaven that does afflict our nature. I am sorry. What have you given him in hard words of late, Ophelia? No, my good lord, but as you did command, I did repel his feeders and denied his access to me, Lord Prince, that had made him made. I am sorry that with bitter heat and judgments I had not courted him. I feared he did but trifle and mean to wreak thee, but beshrew my jealousy. By heaven, it is as proper to our age to cast beyond ourselves in our opinions as it is common for the younger short to lack discretion. Come, go with the king. This must be known, which being kept close might move more grief to hate than hate to utter love exent, sent to Rome in the castle. Enter King Claudius, King Gertrude, Rosencrantz, Guildenstern, and attendants King Claudius. Welcome, dear Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Moreover, that we much did long to see you. Denied we have the use you did provoke our hasty sending something. Have you heard of Hamlet's transformation, so-called its seat, nor the exterior nor the inward man resembles that it was what it should be more than his father's date that thus had but him so much from the understanding of himself I can't dream of. I entreat you both that being of so young days brought up with him and said so neighbor to his youth and have your that you vouchsafe of your rest here in our court some little time, so by your companions to draw him on to pleasure and to gather so much as from occasion you may glean whither ought to us no one afflicts him thus that open lays within our remedy. King Gertrude. Good gentleman, he had much talked of you, and sure I am too mean they are not living. To whom he more others, if it will please you to show us so much gentry and goodwill as to spend your time with us awhile for the supply and profits of our hope, your visitation shall receive such thanks as fits a king's remembrance. Rosencrantz. Both your majesties might by the sovereign power you have of us, but your dread pleasures more into command than to entreaty. Gideon but we both obey, and here give up ourselves in the full bent to lie ourselves service freely at your feet to be commandant. King Claudius. Thanks, Rosencrantz and gentle Guildenstern. Queen Gertrude. Thanks, Guildenstern and gentle Rosencrantz, and I beseech you instantly to visit my too much changed son. Go, some of you, and bring this gentleman where Hamlet is. Guildenstern. Heavens make our presence and our practice pleasant and helpful to him. Queen Gertrude. I mean, exeunt Rosencrantz, Guildenstern, and some attendants inter Polonius, Lord Polonius. The ambassadors from Norway, my good Lord, are joyfully returned. King Claudius. Thou still hast been the father of good news, Lord Polonius. Have I, my lord? I assure my good liege. I hold my duty as I hold my soul, both to my good and to my gracious king. And I do think, or else this brain of mine, hence not the trial of policy so sure as it had used to do, that I have found the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy. King Claudius. Oh, speak of that do I long to hear, Lord Polonius. Give first admittance to the ambassadors. My news shall be defraud to that great feast. King Claudius. There sir, do grace to them and bring them in. Exit Polonius. He tells me, my dear Gertrude, he had found the head and source of all your son's distemper. King Gertrude. I doubt it is no other but the mine, his father's death, and our over hasty marriage. King Claudius. Well, we shall sift him. Re-enter Polonius with Voltimand and Cornelius. Welcome, my good friends. See, Voltimand, what from our brother Norway, Voltimand, must fear return of greeting and desires upon our first. He sent out to suppress his nephew's levies, which to him appeared to be preparation against the Polak, but better locked into he truly found it was against your highness, whereat give that so his sickness, age, and impotence, what falsely falsely born in hand, sent us out arrest on 14 brass, which he in brave obeys, receive rebuke from Norway, and in fine mix vow before his uncle nevermore to give the essay of arms against your majesty, whereon old Norway overcome with joy gives him 3,000 crowns in annual fee, and his commission to employ those soldiers so lived as before against the Polak with an entreaty herein further shown, given a Bible, that it might please you to give Kate pass through your dominions for this enterprise on such regards of safety and allowance as the Rhine are set down. King Claudius, it likes us well, and at our more considered time will read and swear and think upon this business. Meantime, we thank you for your will to labor. Go to your rest. At night we'll feast together. Must welcome home. Example Voltimand and Cornelius, Lord Polonius. This business is well indeed, my liege and madam, to expostulate what majesty shall be, what duty is, why day is day, night, and time is time. We're nothing but to waste nights and day and time. Therefore, since brevity is the soul of wit and tediousness the lamps and outward flourishes, I will be brief. Your noble son is mad, call I it, for to define true madness, what is but to be nothing else but mad. But let that go, Queen Gertrude. More matter with eyeless art. Lord Polonius, Madam, I swear I use no art or at all that is made. 'Tis true, 'tis pity, and pity 'tis true, foolish figure, but farewell it, for I will use no art mad. Let us grant him then, and show no remains what we find out the cause of this effect, or rather say the cause of this defect, for this effective comes by cause, thus it remains, and the remainder thus perpend, thus it remains, and the remainder thus perpend. I have a daughter have, while she is mine, who in her duty and obedience mark hath given me this. Now gather and surmise it to the celestial and my soul's idol, the most beautified Ophelia, that's on a phrase, a vile phrase, beautified is a vile phrase, but you shall hear thus reads, in her excellent wide bosom days, Queen Gertrude. Came this from Hamlet to her? Lord Polonius. Good, madam, stay a while, I will be faithful. Reads, thou to do the stars are five, thou that the sun doth move, thou with that truth to be a liar, but never doubt I love. O dear Ophelia, I am ill at these numbers. I have not art to reckon my groans, but that I love thee best, O most best beloved it. Adieu, thine evermore, most dear lady, whilst this matching is to him Hamlet is in obedience had my daughter shown me, and more above what is soliciting as the film out by time, by means and place, all given to mine ear. King Claudius, but how had she received his love? Lord Polonius, what do you think of me? King Claudius, as of a man faithful and honorable. Lord Polonius, I would find proof so, but what might you think when I had seen this hot love on the wing, as I perceived it? I must tell you that before my daughter told me what might you or my dear Majesty your king here think, if I had played the disc or table book, or given my heart a winking mute and dumb, or looked up this love with idle sight, what might you think? No, I went round to work, and my young mistress, thus I did bespake, Lord Hamlet is a prince out of the star, this must not be, and then I precepts gave her that she should lock herself from his sword, admit no messengers, receive no tokens, which done she took the fruits of my advice, and he repulsed a short tale to make, fell into sadness, then into fast dance, to watch dance, into weakness, dance to lightness, and by this declension into the madness where I know he rave. And all we mourn for, King Claudius. Do you think this, Queen Gertrude? It may be very likely, Lord Polonius. Had here been such a time, I'd find no that I have positively said this, so when it proved otherwise, King Claudius. Not that I know, Lord Polonius. Pointing to his head and shoulder, take this from this. If this be otherwise, in circumstance, lead me. I will find where the truth is hid. Toy it where his head indeed within the center. King Claudius, how may we try in further, Lord Polonius? You know, sometimes he walks for hours together here in the lobby, Queen Gertrude. So he does indeed, Lord Polonius. At such a time I lose my daughter to him, be you and I behind an arras, then mark the encounter, if he love her not, and be not from his reason found Dirion, let me be no assistant for estates, but keep of farm and carters, King Claudius. We will try it, Queen Gertrude. But look, where sadly the poor rich comes reading. Lord Polonius, away, I do beseech you, both away. I'll board him presently. Exeunt King Claudius, King Gertrude, and attendants enter Hamlet reading. Oh, give me leave. How does my good Lord Hamlet? Well, good, oh mercy, Lord Polonius. Do you know me, my Lord Hamlet? Excellent, well, you are a fishmonger. Lord Polonius, not I, my lord. Then I would you were so honest a man, Lord Polonius. Honest, my lord? Hamlet, I, sir, to be honest, as this word goes, is to be one man picked out of 10,000, Lord Polonius. What's very true, my lord Hamlet? For if the sun bred maggots in a dead dog, being a good kissing carrion, have you a daughter? Lord Polonius, I have my lord Hamlet. Let her not walk. The sun conception is a blessing, but not as your daughter may conceive, friend Locke to it. Lord Polonius aside. How see you by that? Still have been on my daughter, yet he knew me not of at first. He said I was a fishmonger. He is far gone, and truly in my youth I suffered much extremity for love, very near the days. I speak to him again. What do you read, my lord? Hamlet, words. Lord Polonius, what is the matter, my lord? Hamlet, between who? I mean, the matter that you read, my lord. Hamlet, slender sir, for the satire satirical rogue says here that old men have grey birds, that their faces are wrinkled, their eyes bulging, take amber and plum tree gum, and that they have a plentiful lack of wheat, together with must weak hams, all which, sir, though I must pour fully and potently believe, yet I hold it not honestly to have in thus sit down for yourself, sir, should be old as I am, if like a crap you could go backward. Look, Lord Polonius aside, though this be madness, yet there is method, and will you walk out of the ire, my Lord Hamlet, into my grave, Lord Polonius? Indeed, that is out of the ire. Aside, how pregnant sometimes his replies are. Oh, happiness that often madness hits on, which reason and sanity could not so prosperously be delivered of. I will leave him, and suddenly contrive the means of meeting between him and my daughter, my honorable lord. I will most humbly take my leave of you, Hamlet. You can't, sir, take from me anything that I will more willingly part with all, except my life, except my life, except my life. Lord Polonius, fare you well, my lord. Hamlet, these tedious old fools enter Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Lord Polonius, you go to seek the Lord Hamlet. There he is. Rosencrantz to Polonius. God save you, sir. Exit Polonius. Guildenstern. My honored lord, Rosencrantz, my most dear Lord Hamlet. My excellent good friends, how dost do? Guildenstern, Rosencrantz, good lads, how do you be? How do ye both, Rosencrantz? As the indifferent children of the earth, Guildenstern, happy in that we are not over happy. On Fortune's cap we are not the very button, Hamlet, nor the solace of her show, Rosencrantz, neither, my lord Hamlet. Do you live about her waist, or in the middle of her favors, Guildenstern? Fate her private sway, Hamlet. In the secret parts of fortune, O most true, she is a strumpet. What is the news, Rosencrantz? None, my lord, but that the words ground honest, Hamlet. Then is Domesday near, but your news is not true. Let me question more in particular. What have you, my good friends, deserved at the hands of fortune, that she sends you to prison hither? Guildenstern, prison, my lord Hamlet, the Mark's prison. Rosencrantz, then is the word one, Hamlet. A godly one in which there are many confines, wards and dungeons, Denmark being one of the worst, Rosencrantz. We think not so, my lord Hamlet. Why, then 'tis none to you, for there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. To me it is a prison, Rosencrantz. Why then your ambition makes it one 'tis too narrow for your mind, Hamlet. Oh God, Spaladin, oh good, I could be bounded in a nutshell and count myself a king of infinite space, were it not that have bad dreams, Guildenstern, which dreams indeed are ambition, for the very substance of the ambitious is merely the shadow of a dream, Hamlet. A dream itself is but a shadow, Rosencrantz. Truly I hold ambition of so airy and light a quality that is but a shadow, Hamlet. Then are our beggars' bodies and our monarchs and our stretched heroes, the beggars' shadows. Shall we to the court, for by my thigh I can't reason. Rosencrantz, Guildenstern. Well, wait upon you, Hamlet. No such matter, I will not sort you with the rest of my servants, for to speak to you like an honest man, I am most dreadful, intended but in the beaten way of friendship. What make you at Elsinore, Rosencrantz? To visit you, my lord, no other occasion, Hamlet. Be God that I am even poor in thanks, but I thank you, and sure difference my thanks are to their have penny were you not sent for. Is it your own inclining? Is it of free visitation? Come deal justly with me. Come, now speak. Guildenstern, what should we say, my lord? Why, anything but to the purpose you were sent for, and where is, O king of confession in your locks, which your modesties have not craft enough to color? I know the good king and queen have sent for you, Rosencrantz. To what end, my lord? That you must teach me. But let me conjure you, by the rights of our fellowship, by the consonancy of our youth, by the obligation of our ever-preserved law, by the what more dear of it Professor Claude charge you withal, be even and direct with me whether you were sent for or now, Rosencrantz. Aside to Guildenstern, what see you? Hamlet aside. Nay, then I have an eye of you. If you love me, hold not of Guildenstern. My lord, we were sent for, Hamlet. I will tell you why. So shall my anticipation prevent your discovery, and your secrecy to the king and queen moulds no feather. I have of late but withal I know not lost all my mirth forgone, all custom of exercises, and indeed it goes so heavily with my disposition that this godly frame the earth seems to me sterile, promontory, this mast, excellent canopy, the eye lock you, this brave, overhanging firmament, this majestical roof freighted with golden fire. Why, it appears no other thing to me than a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors. What a praise of work is man, how noble in his region, how infinite in faculty, in form and moving, how express and admirable in action, how like an angel in apprehension, how like God, the beauty of the world, the paragon of animals. And yet to me what is this quintessence of dust? Man delights not me, no, nor woman, neither do I by your smiling your same to see so. Rosencrantz, my lord, there was no such stuff in my thoughts. Hamlet, why did you laugh then when I said man delights not me? Rosencrantz, to think, my lord, if you delight not in man, what Linton entreatment the pliers shall receive from you. We quoted them on the way, and hither are the coming to offer you service. Hamlet, he that please the king shall be welcome. His majesty shall have tributes of me. The adventurous knights shall use his foil and targets. The lover shall not sigh gratis. The humorous man shall end his parts in peace. The clown shall make those laugh whose lungs are tickled on the sere, and the lady shall see her mend freely, or the blank verse shall halt forth. What players are they, Rosencrantz? Even those you were wont to take delight in the tragedians of the city, Hamlet. How chances indeed travel their residence both in reputation and profit was better both ways. I think their inhibition comes by the means of the late innovation, Hamlet. Do they hold the same estimation they did when I was in the city? Are they so flawed? No, indeed they are not. Are they not? Hamlet. How comes it to the grow rusty? Their endeavor keeps in the wanted pace, but there is sore an eyrie of children, little eases that cry out on the top of question and at our master tyrannically clapped forth. These are no the fashion and so brittle the common stages, so they call them that many wearing rapiers and are afraid of ghost kills and are scares come thither. Hamlet. What are the children? How maintains aim? How are they escorted? Will they pursue the quality no longer than they can sing? Will they not say? Afterwards, if they should grow themselves to common players are as it is most like if their means are no better, their writers do them wrong to make them exclaim against their own succession. Fate there has been much to do, no both sides, and the nation holds it's no sin to tear them to controversy. There was for a while no money bid for arguments unless the poet and the player went to calves in the question. Hamlet. It's possible, get a string. Oh, there has been much throwing about of brains. Hamlet. Do the boys carry it away? Aye, that's Dido, my lord, Hercules, and his lord too, Hamlet. It is not very strange for mine uncles if is the king of Denmark and those that would make mows at him while my father lived give 20, 40, 50 and 100 ducats apiece for his picture in little blood. There is something in this more than natural is philosophy called find it out. Flourish of trumpets within. Guildstein. There are the players. Hamlet. Gentlemen, you are welcome to Elsinore. Your hands condemn. The appurtenance of welcome is fashion and ceremony. Let me comply with you in this garb. Let's my extent to the players, which I tell you must show fairly outward, should more appeal like in treatment than yours. You are welcome, but my uncle, father, and aunt, mother are deceived. Guildstring. It was, my dear Lord Hamlet, I am but mad northwest. When he wind is southerly, I know how from handsome. Enter Polonius. Lord Polonius will be with you, gentleman. Hamlet. Hark you, gentle Guildenstern, and you too, at each air of hair that great baby you see there is not yet out of his Sweden clouds. Happily is the second time come to them, for they say an old man is twice a shield. Hamlet. I will prophesy he comes to tell me of the players. Mark it, you say right, sir. On Monday morning 'twas so indeed, Lord Polonius. My lord, I have news to tell you. Hamlet. My lord, I have news to tell you. When Roscius was an actor in Rome, Lord Polonius, the actors are come hither, my lord. Hamlet. Booze, Lord Polonius, up in mine honor, Hamlet. Then come each actor on his ass, Lord Polonius. The best actors in the world, either for tragedy, comedy, story, pastoral, comical, historical, pastoral, tragical, historical, tragical, comical, historical, pastoral, sense individual, or poem unlimited. Sinisa can't be too heavy, nor Plautus too light, for the law of rates and the liberty deeds are the only main. Hamlet. Ujiftat, judge of Israel, what treasure hast thou, Lord Polonius? What treasure had he, my lord? Hamlet. Why, one her daughter, and no more, the which he loved passing well. Lord Polonius aside, sin on my daughters. Hamlet. Am I not? I dare write all Jiftat. Lord Polonius. If you call me Jiftat, my lord, I have a daughter that I love passing well. Hamlet. Aye, that follows now. That follows now, Lord Polonius. What follows then, my lord? Hamlet? Why, as by lot, good words, and then you know it come to pass as most like it was. The first row of the pew chance will show you more for log where my abridgments comes. Enter 4 or 5 players. You are welcome, masters, welcome all. I am glad to see the welcome, good friends, my good friend, the face, my old friend, the face is balanced since I saw the last comes to board me in Denmark. What, my young lady and mistress, board lady, your ladyship is nearer to heaven than when I saw you last by the altitude of Chopin. Pray God, your voice like a piece of uncurrent gold be not cracked within the ring. Masters, you are all welcome. Will even thoughts like French falconers fly at anything we say? Will have a speech straight come give us a taste of your quality. Come, a passionate speech. First player. What speech, my lord? Hamlet. I heard thee speak me a speech once, but it was never acted, or if it was not above once for the play. I remember, please, it not the million twice caviar to the general, but it was as I received it, and others whose judgments in such matters cried in the top of mine, an excellent play will digested in the sense, sit down with as such modestly as cunning. I remember one said there were no solace in the lines to make the matter savory, nor no matter in the phrase that might indicate the odor of affectation, but called it an honest method, as wholesome, as sweet, and by very much more handsome than fine. One speech in it I chiefly loved was Aeneas' tale to the do and thereabouts of it, especially where he speaks of Priam's slaughter. If it live in your memory, begin at this line: let me say, the rugged Pharos, like the Hyrcanian beast. It is not so. It begins with Pharos, the rugged Pharos. He was sable, arms black as the purpose. Did he knights resemble when he lie couched in the ominous horse? Had now this dread and black complexion smeared with heraldry more dismal, hate to foot. Now is he total goals hurriedly tricked with blood of fathers, mothers, daughters, sons, bucket and impasted with the parching streets that lend tyrannos and damned light to their lord's roasted in wrath and fire, and thus oversized with coagulates, gore with eyes like carbuncles, the hellish Pharos, old grandsire prime 6. So proceed you, Lord Polonius. For good, my lord, we spoken with good accent, with good accent and good discretion. First player. Anon he feints him, striking too short at Greeks. His antique sword, rebellious to his arm, lays where it falls, repugnant to command an unequal matched Feroz at Priam drives in reach strikes but with the weave and wind of his will sword, the unnerved father falls in senseless. Ilium seeming to feel this blow with flaming top, stops to his base, and with a hideous scratch takes prisoner Pharaoh's ear. For lo, his sword, which was declining on the milky head of revenged Priam, seemed to sake of revenge so as a painted tyrant Pharaoh's stood and like neutral to his with own matter did nothing, but as we often say against some storm or silence in the heavens, the rock stands still, the bold winds suspicious, and the earth below as hush as dates, and not the dreadful thunder dot drain the region. So after Pharaoh's pause, aroused vengeance sets him new work, and never did the Cyclops hammers fall on Mars's armor forged for proof eternal with less remorse than Pharaoh's bleeding sword. No falls on Priam. Out those trampage fortune, all you goods in general synod, take away her power, break all the spokes, all fails from her will, and bowl the round nave down the hill of heaven as low as to the friends. Lord Polonius, this is too long, Hamlet. It shall to the barbers with your braid. Perdi, see on his for a cheek, a tale of Baudry, or the sleep Sion come to Hecuba. First player. But who had seen their mobled king? The mobled king, Lord Polonius, that's good, mobled king, it's good. First player. Run barefoot up and down, threatening the flames with bisomrium, a cloud upon that reed, where lay the diadem stood, and for a robe about her neck, and all over tamed loins and blankets in the alarm of fear coit up, who this had seen with tongue is in venom stabbed against 14 states all treason have pronounced, but if the gods themselves did see her, then when she saw Pharaoh make malicious sport in mincing with his sword her husband's limbs, the instant burst of clamor that she made, endless things mortal moved them not at all, would have made milch the boring eyes of heaven and passion in the gods. Lord Polonius, look whither he has not turned his color, and has tears in his eyes, pray you no more. Hamlet, this will I'll have thee speak out the Risterson. Good my lord, will you see the players will bestowed? Do you hear? Let them be well used, for they are the abstract and brief chronicles of the time after your death. You were better have obeyed epitaph than I'll report while you live. Lord Prince, my lord, I will use the according to their desert. Hamlet. God's body kings. Man much better use every man after his desert, and who shall escape weeping. Use them after your own honor and dignity. The less they deserve, the more merit is in your bounty. Take him in. Lord Polonius, come sirs. Hamlet, follow him, friends. We'll hear a play tomorrow, except Polonius with all the players, but the first. Thus do hear me, old friends. Can you play the murder of Gonzago? First player. Aye, my lord, damn it. We'll have tomorrow night. You called for a neat, study speech of some dozen of or 16 lines, which I will sit down and insert in. Call, do you not? First player. Ah, my lord, Hamlet. Very well. Follow that lord, and look, you mock him not. Exit first player. My good friends, I leave you till night. You are welcome to Ensenor. Rosencrantz. Good, my lord. Hamlet. I so goodbye. Good. I so good we ye. Hamlet. I so good be we why ye. Exeunt, Rosencrantz, and Guildenstern. Now I am alone. What a rogue and peasant slave am I? Is it not monstrous that this player here, but in fiction, in a dream of passion, cloud forth his soul so to his own conscience that from her working all this visage wanders in his eyes, distraction in his aspect, a broken voice, and his whole function sweeten with forms to his conscience, and all for nothing. For Hecuba, was Hecuba to him, or he to Hecuba, that he should weep for her? What would he do? Had he the motive and the cue of passion that I have? He would drown the streets with tears and cleave the general air with horrid speech, make me the guilty and appeal the free, confound the ignorant, and amaze indeed the very faculties of eyes and ears. Yet I odol and mislead rascal peak like John O. dreams, unpregnant of my cause, and can say nothing, no, not for a king upon whose property and most dear life Odam defeats was made. Am I coward? How cause me villain breaks my pate across, flocks of my bird, and blows it in my face, tweaks me by the nose, gives me the lie I did throat as to the length. Who does me this? Has swans, I shall take it, for it can't be, but I am pigeon-livered and lack gall to make oppression bitter, or ere this I should have fighted all the region kids with these slaves, awful, bloody, bound, violent, remorseless, treacherous, lecherous, kindless, violent, of vengeance. Why, what an ass am I? This is most brave, that I the son of Odile, father murder, prompted to my revenge by heaven and hell, must like a war unpack my heart with words, and fall a corzine like a very drab or scullion, fey upon foe about my brain. I have heard that guilty creatures sitting at a play have been the very cunning of the sane been struck so to the soul that presently they have proclaimed their malefactions for murder, though it have no tongue. We speak with most miraculous organ. I'll have these players play something like the murder of my father before mine uncle. I'll observe his looks. I'll tempt him to this kick. If he but blinch, I know my course. This pride that I have seen me be the devil, and the devil had power to assume a pleasing shape here, and perhaps out of my weakness and my melancholy, as he is very potent with such sprites, abuse me to damn me. I'll have grounds me more relative than this. The place, the thing, we rhyme. I catch the conscience of this king. Exit. Act 3, Scene 1, Rome in the castle. Enter King Claudius, King Gertrude, Polonius, Ophelia, Rosencrantz, and Guildenstern. King Claudius. And can you, by no drift of circumstance, get from him why he posts on this confusion, greeting so harshly all his days of case with true bullets and dangerous lunacy, Rosencrantz. He does confess he feels himself distracted, but from what cause he will by no means speak, Guildenstern. Nor do we find him forward to be sounded, but with a crafty madness keeps aloft when we would bring him on to some confession of his true states, Queen Gertrude. Did he serve you well? Rosencrantz. Most like a gentleman. Guildenstern, but with much forcing of his disposition, Rosencrantz, niggard of question but of our demons, most free in his reply, Queen Gertrude. Did you essay him to any pastime? Rosencrantz, Madame, it so fell out that certain players we overrode on the way of this we told him, and there did seem in him a kind of joy to hear of it. They are about the court, and as I think they have already ordered this night to play before him. Lord Polonius. This most true, and he beseeched me to entreat your majesties to hear and say the matter. King Claudius. With all my heart, and it doth much content me to hear him to so inclined good gentlemen give him a further each, and drive his purpose on these delights, Rosencrantz. We shall, my lord, exeunt Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, King Claudius. Sweet Gertrude, leave us too, for we have closely sent for Hamlet hither, that he was to where by accident may hear affront Ophelia, her father, and myself lawful espial, will so bestow of ourselves that seen, unseen, we may of their encounter frankly judged and gathered by him as he is behaved, it be the affliction of his love or no that as he suffers for Queen Gertrude. I shall obey you, and for your part, Ophelia, I do wish that your good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness. So shall I hope your virtues will bring him to his wonted why again to both your honors, Ophelia. Madame, I wish it may. Exit Queen Gertrude, Lord Polonius. Ophelia, walk you here, gracious so please you, we will bestow ourselves to Ophelia. Read on this book that show of us of such an exercise may color your loneliness, your long lines. We are oft to blame in this. 'Tis so much proved that with devotions, visage, and pious action we do sugar over the devil himself. King Claudius aside. Oh, 'tis so true how smart or large that speech doth give my conscience. The harlot chic beautied with plastering art is not more ugly to the thing that helps it than is my deed to my most painted word, O heavy burden. Lord Polonius, I hear him coming. Let's withdraw, my lord. Exeunt King Claudius and Polonius enter Hamlet. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them to sleep no more, and by a sleep to say we end the heart ache and the thousand natural strokes that flesh in his hair to taste of consummation, devoutly to be wished, today to sleep, perchance to dream. There is the rub, for in that sleep of dates, that dreams might come, when we have shuffled of this mortal coil, must give us pause, this the respect to me, the makes calamity of so long life, for how old bear the waves and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of despised love that knows delay, the insolence of vice, and the spawns that passion's merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might his Kitsus make with Uber Bodkin, how old fardless bear to grants and sweets under of weary life, but that the dread of something after date, the undiscovered country from whose born no travel returns, puzzles the wheel, and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others that we know not of. Thus conscience does make coward of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is seeking is cycled over with the pelcast of toys and enterprises of great speed and moment, with disregard their current stern array, and lose the name of action. Soft, you know, the fair Ophelia nymph in the origins, be all my sins remembered, Ophelia. Good my lord, how does your honor for this many of a day? I humbly thank you. Well, Ophelia. My lord, I have remembrance of your that I have longed long to deliver. I pray you no receive them. No, not I. I never gave you out. Ophelia. My honored lord, you know right well you did, and with them words of so sweet bread composed as made the things more rich, the perfume lost. Take these again, for to the noble mind rich gifts works, poor when givers prove and can dare. My lord Hamlet. Are you honest, Ophelia? My lord Hamlet. Are you fair, Ophelia? What means your lordship, Hamlet? What if you be honest and fair? Your honesty should admit no discourse to your beauty, Ophelia. Called beauty, my lord, have better commerce than with honesty, Hamlet. Aye, truly, for the power of beauty will scorn transformed honesty from what is to above than the force of honesty can translate beauty into his likeness. This was sometimes a paradox, but now the time gives it proof. I did love you once, Ophelia. Indeed, my lord, you made me believe so. Hamlet. You should not have believed me, for virtue can so inoculate our old stroke, but we shall relish of it. I loved you not, Ophelia. I was the more deceived, Hamlet. Get thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners or of sinners? I am myself indifferent, honest, but yet I could accuse me of such things that it were better my mother had not borne me. I am very proud, ringed, ambitious, with more offences at my beak than I have thoughts to put them in imagination, to give them shape, or time to act them in. What shall such fellow as I do, crumbling between earth and heaven? We are alliance knaves, all believe, none of us. Go the ways to a nunnery. Where's your father, Ophelia? At home, my lord. Hamlet. Let the doors be shut upon him, that he may play the fall on nowhere but in down house. Farewell, Ophelia. Oh, help him, you sweet heavens, Hamlet. If thou dost marry, I'll give thee his this plague for the dowry, be as chaste as ice, as pure as snow, thou shalt not escape calumny, get thee to a nunnery, go farewell, or if thou wilt needs marry of all, for wise men know well enough what the masters you make of them, to a nunnery go and take quickly to farewell, Ophelia. O heavenly powers, restore him, Hamlet. I have heard of your painting too, well enough. God has given you one face, and you make yourselves another. You jig, you amble, and you lisp, and nickname God's creatures, and make your wantonness your ignorance. Go to, I know more on't it had made me a maid. I see we will have no more marriages, though that are married already, all but one shall live, the rest shall keep as they are. To O nunnery go. Exit Ophelia. Oh, what a noble mind is here overthrown! The courtiers, soldiers, scholars, tongue sword, the expectancy and rose of fair states, the glass of fashion and the mold of form, the observer of all observers cast down, and of ladies most dejected and wretched that shocked the honey of his music voice. No, see that noble and most sovereign region like sweet bass jangled out of tune and harsh, but that unmatched form and feature of lone youth, blasted with ecstasy, or woe is me, who have seen that what I have seen. What I say. Re-enter King Claudius and Polonius. King Claudius. Love his affections do not what we tend, nor what he spake, though it lacked form of little, was not like madness. There's something is in his soul over which his melancholy sits on brood, and I do doubt the hatch and the disclose will be some danger which for to prevent I have in quick determination thus set it down. He shall with speed on to England for the demand of our neglected tribute, haply to the seas and the countries different with variable objects shall expel this something settled matter in his heart wherein his brain still breathing but puts him thus from fashion of himself. What think you want? Lord Polonius.